Knicks fans, so while we wait for the Eastern Conference Finals to start, it's the perfect time to look at the other part of the blueprint. Most fans are just sitting around waiting for Detroit and Cleveland to finish their series, which is tied at 2-2 by the way, but the real ones know that Leon Rose is already working on the next layer of this team. We have 3 picks in this year's NBA draft. For those of you that don't know, that is the number 24th pick in the first round and 2 second-round picks, one being number 31, which is the first pick of the second round, and number 55. If you know how this front office operates, you know that those picks are not just for players, they are assets. Leon Rose loves to package these picks to move up for a guy that he really wants, or even move down to grab more future picks later on. So today we are breaking down the draft architecture for this year and the guys that the Knicks are already meeting with to keep this title run going for years. So let's start with the guy that everyone is talking about for that 24th pick, Isaiah Evans from Duke. He's a 6'6" wing who was one of the best shooters in college last year. He just measured in at the combine with a 6'9" wingspan, which is exactly the kind of length that the Knicks would love for our defensive floor. Isaiah is a pure bucket getter who is not afraid to attack closeouts, but the only real issue is that he's pretty thin in his frame right now, so he will need to hit the weight room to survive a full season in our system and in the NBA. But the skill is there, and he's already said that he's fully in on the draft, and a lot of mock drafts have him landing right at 24 for us. If we need a young sharpshooter to come off the bench and provide a spark, he is a surgical fit. Then you have the big man, which is where things get really interesting because of our high post hub style of play. Malachi Moreno out of Kentucky just had a workout with the Knicks this week. He's 7 feet tall and only 19 years old, but his feel for the game is way beyond his age. He's a high-level passer who can facilitate from the high post, which sounds a lot like a young Karl Anthony Towns. If Leon picks him at 31, he is the perfect long-term project to learn under Cat. He even opted out of the 5-on-5 drills at the combine, which usually means a team has given him a promise already or he's really confident in his stock. But the local story is Zuby Ejiofor from St. John's. A lot of you guys probably know who he is, the best St. John's player from last season, and took them all the way to the Sweet 16 in March Madness. He's also the reigning Big East Player of the Year, and the Knicks are meeting with him tomorrow in Chicago. Zuby is a powerhouse. He's 6'9" with a massive 7'1" wingspan, and he's one of the few bigs who can actually switch out and guard players on the perimeter. He fits that Nova Knicks style grid perfectly. He's a captain, he's a leader, and he's already used to playing in the bright lights of New York at Madison Square Garden. Having a guy like that at the end of the rotation or as a defensive specialist would be a massive win for our bench depth and energy. We're also looking at more wing depth with LeJay Jones from Florida State. He's 6'7" and is the definition of a 3-and-D prospect. He averaged about 13 points a game and showed that he can be a pest on the defensive end. The Knicks already had him in for a pre-draft workout last week because they know that you can never have too many wings who can hit shots and guard multiple positions. Along with him, they also looked at Cruz Davis, who was a standout at Hofstra before going to Texas Tech. He's another local-ish kid who has shown that he can score in bunches. Now, in the backcourt, we've seen names like Elliot Cadeau from Michigan and Jackson Pavletsky from Ohio. These are high IQ guards who understand how to run an offense. With Jordan Clarkson on an expiring deal soon, Leon is smart to look for the next cheap, high-value guard who can keep our secondary unit moving. These workouts show that the front office is not just looking for stars, they're looking for the right pieces to fit into the architecture that we already built around Jalen Brunson. The biggest question regarding this year's draft is what does Leon do with these picks? History tells us that he probably will not just stand pat and take 3 rookies. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he packages 24 and 31 to move up into the mid-teens if a guy that they love starts sliding. Or he could do the classic Leon Rose move, which is to trade back, pick up another future first or second round pick, and keep the asset cabinet full for a future blockbuster trade. It's all about staying even-keeled and making sure that every move helps the championship window stay open. While we wait for Game 5 of the Cavs and Pistons tonight, it's good to know that the front office is already grinding. Detroit being up 2-0 and then Cleveland storming back to tie it shows that anything can happen in the playoffs, and you do need a deep roster to survive the grind. Whether we face the Pistons or the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, we're going to need our bench to be elite. Seeing the names that the Knicks are scouting tells me that they're focused on exactly that, finding guys who can play multiple roles and keep the energy high. This is why being a Knicks fan right now is so different from years past. We're not just hoping for a lucky break in the lottery anymore, we're a 53-win team with a superstar in his prime, and also a deep rotation and a front office that is still scouting like they're hungry for more. We have the picks this year, we have the players, and we do have the blueprint. The draft might be in June, but the work is happening right now in Chicago and at the training facility. I'm staying even-keeled throughout this waiting period. We will know who our opponent is soon enough in the Eastern Conference Finals, but for now, let's appreciate the fact that the Knicks are actually a well-run organization. We are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We got extra picks in our pocket, and the future has never looked more stable. Let me know in the comments though, do you want Leon to keep the picks and draft a guy like Isaiah Evans or Zuby Ejiofor, or should we trade them for another veteran to help us win right now? I'll be in the comments talking draft and playoffs with you all day. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.